What's going on, everybody? Hope you all are all out there doing well. Let me check my stuff here to make sure I can hear myself. Okay, yep, I sound good. Happy Sunday to every last one of you guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to the channel. Have to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. But before I do, make sure you guys y'all should know what to do by now. Y'all should hit that like button so that this video can be circulated within the YouTube algorithm and that my content will continuously be recommended to you. All right. So appreciate if y'all did that. I want to say hello to every last one of you guys that are in here right now. Christian Coleman, K. Michael, this guy right here. Which side? Hold on. This guy right here. He's one of my most devoted subscribers on this channel. When he says he's unsubscribing, it's an inside joke. And it's kind of his calling card now, because what happens is that on my channel, there are people that will subscribe to my channel, right? They love the channel, so they think. And then we talk about certain topics that they don't agree with. Instead of talking with me over the, pretty much having a constructive conversation over it, they get pissed off and they leave a message like, I don't like you anymore. I'm unsubscribing from you. So it's become a joke. Like we're all like, okay, bye-bye, unsubscribe, goodbye. You didn't announce it when you did subscribe. So why are you announcing when you unsubscribe? So when you see K. Michael leave a calling card saying unsubscribing, it's a inside joke to those people who are easily butthurt. There's still music playing. It shouldn't be. Y'all still hearing music? Oh no, that's a real card. So if y'all don't know, this is the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I'm going to be showing you guys a video that came up, and I'm hoping that there's a particular person who always seems to, whenever I'm talking about other subjects, there's this individual, he know who he is. He comes in here. Guys, I could be talking about health, fitness, food. I could be talking about relationships regarding marriage, things like that. And this guy always seems to come in here and wants to throw critical race theory in there. So anyway, if none of y'all have hit that like button yet, make sure you do it. Again, I'm just kind of waiting here a little bit to. Can y'all hear that? Some good thundering going on outside. Y'all probably can't hear that though. But anyway, only ships and trains and airplanes need to announce their departure. Exactly. All right. So let me get ready to move some of these banners out the way. You should know what to do by now. All right. So if y'all don't know, let me get ready to get into this, because I have a video I want to show y'all too. Look at that. I got my white privilege card and it trumps everything. It's good since birth and ends at death. So it says, right? On the back of this card, I don't know if y'all can see that. Look at that. This card grants the bearer happiness and success because it's the color of your skin and not the choices you make that determine your abilities to be successful. Woo! And that's exactly why I am successful. The reason I'm successful is because of what my white privilege card says. My white privilege card, again, for the people that didn't hear it in the back, my white privilege card says, this card grants its bearer happiness and success because it's the color of your skin and not the choices you make that determine your abilities to be successful. And oh my freaking God, y'all. Whoo! Look, I got the chip in it. I got the chip right there and everything to go with this bad boy. Look at that. I got the chip. Whoo! What are we talking about? Now, I'm gonna just tell y'all all the benefits that came with getting this card. It came with me instantly becoming a husband. See that? It says hubby. The cup says hubby on it, okay? That's what it says. I instantly became a husband. I didn't even know I was a husband. I instantly became a husband, about to be 23 years married. I instantly became a husband, almost married 23 years. That's what the white privilege card came with, because black people don't get married. So that has to be my white privilege card that came with these benefits. The other thing that came with being in the white privilege is I had to become an Uncle Tom. Okay. Just want to let y'all know that. See that? I had to become an Uncle Tom when I got the white privilege card. The Uncle Tom is just to show people that I'm a white person inside, but on the outside, I'm black. Therefore, when black people see a successful black man who they think is black, they can identify me, as an Uncle Tom. The other thing that came with the white privilege card is I instantly became MAGA. Yep. Instantly became MAGA once I got that white privilege card. I don't know. They categorized me with the MAGA, but it also came with the signature of Kayleigh McEnany, who was President Trump's former White House press secretary. Oh, and I'm gonna show you guys something else that this white privilege card came with. So hang tight real quick. I'm gonna disappear. Okay. The other thing this white privilege card came with is sharing the stage with D'Souza. Y'all see that? Sharing the stage with D'Souza. It came with also a white, a white privileged man named Al. I don't know if y'all know who Mr. Allen West is, but it came with Mr. Allen West. See that? Trying to get it to where y'all don't see so much of a glare. There we go. Mr. Allen West. Yeah, it gets better, folks. It gets better. This white privilege card, it came with sharing the stage with David Harris Jr. I don't know if y'all know who he is. He's now got a job with Newsmax. David Harris Jr. Sharing the stage with him, talking on the same stage with him. It also came with sharing the stage and talking with, y'all know this guy? Yeah. Him. Maybe you like him or not. And then the lovely lady that signed my hat, we spoke on the same stage as well at Freedom Initiative Now. See that? Yeah, so that's what happens when you get one of these. You instantly become successful. You instantly become married. You instantly become a person with money and all that. And the only reason that I was able to get and be able to do all those things you guys just saw was because of my skin color. Yeah, that's all. My whiteness is the reason why I was able to share the stage with all those people. Oh. Also, don't want to leave this part out. Having a white privilege card instantly gets you the Trump winery. Sorry for all the crazy flashing exposure. And it came with some wine in this very lovely smelling box. And in this box, you get these lovely little wine glasses. Y'all probably can't see that's gonna look crazy. You get these lovely wine glasses that says Trump Winery on it. So, like I said, it all depends on what type of white person you will become, because I don't know if y'all know this, there's levels to whiteness. So to the white people, To the white people that, to you white people that didn't get this white privilege card, it's because I am better at being white than you white people are. Sorry to say that, the whole Eminem better than black people at being rapping thing, what can I say? I mean, gee golly whiz, I'm very much, I'm very much articulate than any of you white people. Therefore, I got the whitest of the white. Not only did I get a white privilege card, my card is white, period. So anyway, y'all, jokes all to the side. The whole purpose of me doing this video, as y'all see that it says white privilege card, CRT DEI, is because I called this years ago when I went viral for speaking out at a school board meeting about what CRT was going to do. I called and said that it was going to do nothing more than to divide, right? But people didn't believe me. People said, you up here just blah, blah, blah. You tap dancing for the white man. CRT is not being taught in school. If you don't know what CRT is, it stands for critical race theory. And pretty much the whole bulk of it is that critical race theory has it out there that everything that we have in our current world today, as far as how school is, how work is, no matter what, the way assembly lines are ran, the way companies are ran, where factories are ran, the way hospitals are ran, it doesn't even matter. All of it was built and structured to do nothing more than to benefit white people. It was built for white people to do nothing more than to benefit white people, right? Now, what ends up happening and what ended up happening is that whenever they were trying to implement CRT, critical race theory, under the guise of black people during the civil rights movement, it was pretty much beat out by Martin Luther King. He wanted equality while CRT pushes equity. Equity means, and pretty much in the simple terms, equity means everybody should be on the same playing field. Everybody should get what everybody else have without having to work for it. While equality is saying you might have equal opportunity, but doesn't mean you're going to have equal outcome. It's all up to the individual. Okay. Now, with that being said, that's why I bash critical race theory so hard, because what critical race theory ended up doing is that it divided us. It pretty much pushed out there that white people, because of all the privileges that they have by this system that was built for white people, only for white people, and would benefit only white people. Therefore, young children who were being taught this would look at it and they would get instantly mad at their white friends, because they feel that anything that their white friends would end up having, it was only because of those white friends' skin color. And then it would make the black person look at themselves and say, the reason why I didn't get it is because of my skin color. The reason why I'm not as successful is because of my skin color, because the white people kept me from doing it. The reason why I am in the predicament that I am is not because my mom and dad made bad choices when they were young adults themselves, and then my dad left, and now I'm a single kid with a single mom. It's not that. It's because of my skin color. Therefore, I don't like my skin color. I'm not going to be able to make it in this world, because everything in this world that I want to do, everything that I want to achieve, everything that I want to accomplish, I won't be able to do it, because all those things that I want to go and do, they were built for white people, only for white people. Therefore, I'm not going to be able to get in there and do anything that these people do, because the system is only for white people. Therefore, why even try? But what we are going to be able to do is sit back and let white people, the government, incentivize everything that we do. And then we're going to continuously cry about why we can't get ahead, why we can't make it, why we're not able to do these things. So the DEI part came in there. It stands for diversity, equity, inclusion, which is nothing more than a little derivative or a subtopic of critical race theory. Now, what DEI does is tries to implement policies and theorizes that you should hire people based off of you need this in your workplace. You need diversity, equity, and inclusion. That includes black people. It includes gay, lesbian, trans, blah, 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 blah. And notice the word equity got thrown in there, folks. Equity. I told you, you don't even believe me. Look it up. When it all comes into it, equity pretty much means I should be able to have a chance of doing it simply because I just should be able to. Don't necessarily got to look at qualifications. Don't necessarily got to look at skill. Don't have to look at ability. I should just be able to get included in there just because. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is have you guys share this video with you guys. Okay. And I want you to watch this. And I am going to be pausing this video for some of you that might get a little pissed off. I am going to be pausing this video, but I want you to pay close attention to this, because this is one of those deals where a lot of people, y'all don't understand, white people in particular, who tries to virtue signal to black people, who tries to, really, you think that you're helping black people. You think that you are doing something for the betterment of black people, when all along you have no idea that you're going along with a rhetoric that pretty much tells black people that they're not good enough, they're not smart enough, they're not skillful enough, they're not intelligent enough. Okay. Let's get ready to get into it, okay? Let me bring it back. I'll make it bigger. I think I'll make myself small so y'all can hear this, all right? I'm going to play it, and I'll make sure you guys can hear it, and then we're going to go from there.
So let me ask you a question. So in the CRT literature, what do they think of white people or whiteness?
Who would you like me to quote?
Kimberly Crenshaw.
I haven't read Kimberly Crenshaw.
She says that
yet.
whiteness is a cancer or a toxin on our society.
The concept of whiteness, the racial concept of whiteness.
Okay, so what is whiteness?
What is whiteness?
Yeah, define it.
As Kimberly Crenshaw would probably say, the sort of construction of privilege that comes with being white in this country.
Right. So what privilege do you and I as white people have that black people don't have?
Yeah, great question. On applications that are blindly judged, white sounding names are often given the job more, they're paid more.
Not true. In fact, it's the opposite. There's black privilege right now. It's called affirmative action, where underqualified blacks are taking Asians and white people's places in universities across the country. True or false?
Now, like I said, I'm going to do my best not to pause every like 3 seconds or something like that, but it's really hard not to jump in on things like this. Okay. Guys, if y'all don't know who Kimberly Crenshaw is, Kimberly Crenshaw, who I had the ability to be able to try to talk to, because whenever I went viral, all these people started like bashing me and everything. I'm talking, y'all have no idea. I'm talking from Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, Taraji P. Henson, in case y'all don't know what they are. Kimberly Crenshaw was one of them. Then a guy named Kenty X, who changed his name. All of them got on these different stations. I can't believe this black man. That's a black man. We reached out to them from the radio station. Y'all think they wanted to talk to me? No, because they knew that if I would have came on any of their shows, I would have ate their lunch. I would have eaten them alive on their own stuff. Because what people typically do, I can't believe he's trying to say there ain't no race. No, I didn't say there's no racism. I can't believe he's trying to say. All of them went on their shows. They did this bashing and everything like that, but none of them, when we reached out to them to have me come on their shows, since I'm the person they're talking about, none of them wanted to have me come on there and talk. Why? I would have embarrassed them. And then all these millions of followers that they had on their show, all of these members on their show would have listened to my point and went and said, let me see what this man is talking about. Let me go and check this out. They didn't do it. So if you don't know this, Kimberly Crenshaw is supposed to be one of the godmothers of critical race theory. She's supposed to be the one that has something to do with putting all of it together. She's like the go-to person, right? Now, when he asked if she read anything of Kimberly Crenshaw, she said no. But then she turned around and said she thinks she knows what Kimberly Crenshaw would say. Did y'all catch that? She thinks she knows what Kimberly Crenshaw would have said. So I'm gonna let y'all hear that part again, okay?
And privilege right now, it's a toxin on our society.
The concept of whiteness, the racial concept of whiteness.
Okay, so what is whiteness?
What is whiteness?
Yeah, define it.
As Kimberly Crenshaw would probably say, the sort of.
Y'all, that's what I'm talking about. She just got done saying she hasn't read anything of Kimberly Crenshaw, but then she would turn around and say what Kimberly Crenshaw probably would say when it comes to whiteness. You can't do that. And here's my deal. Kimberly Crenshaw, know what it is? Okay. Kimberly Crenshaw is going to break it down to you what whiteness is better than what you white people could. See what I'm saying? And it's the opposite of what people do right now, where white people with this fake virtue signaling think that they know what's best for black people and what black people really need and they know better than what black people do. Y'all get it? See, it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, let's go on with this. Let me see what the screen looks like here. Don't forget to hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen, so that this video can be circulated within the YouTube algorithm. All right. Make sure you do that. Okay. Here we go.
Construction of privilege that comes with being white in this country.
Right. So what privilege do you and I as white people have that black people don't have?
Yeah, great question. On applications that are blindly judged, white sounding names are often given the job more, they're paid more.
Not true. In fact, it's the opposite. There's black privilege right now. It's called affirmative action, where underqualified blacks are taking Asians and white people's places in universities across the country. True or false?
True.
Okay, so yeah, there's black privilege, not white privilege
I
in this
actually
country.
don't think affirmative action is how we address education inequality.
Okay, well, that affirmative action is still largely supported by the CRT regime. But let's get back to CRT, to the essence of it.
Sure.
CRT believes in one manifestation of its ideology is black-only dormitories. So white people are not allowed. Do you believe in black-only dormitories?
No, and I don't have to agree with every aspect of an ideology to argue for it.
So then what part of CRT do you like? Because they call whiteness a toxin, black-only dormitories. And if you want to talk about like ideological or intellectual sloppiness, the 1619 Project was...
I think it's very sloppy.
Okay, we agree. Nicole Hannah-Jones.
I think it's overstated, and I think some of the parts are inaccurate.
Okay.
Now, let me let you guys know something, okay? I'm gonna tell you all this, because one of the things that happens is this. I will go, and anybody that I might want to see what their thought process is, like, for example, it's a possibility. I always have myself in the mind frame when I go into these talks, not to go there and try to show a person out or to get the one up on them on a debate stage or intellectually. That's not my thought process. My thought process is to go in there and present the facts that I know. And my thought process is to go in there to see if there's something that I can learn from this person that I might not have known. So when it came to Kimberly Crenshaw, I looked into her stuff and I read it, right? Now, you have to review and reference some material to understand what CRT is. Now, you also want to do something that these people do themselves. So if Kimberly Crenshaw is looked at as being like the godmother of critical race theory, I want to go in and see what her thought process is, what she pushes out. And I want y'all to know this. Kimberly Crenshaw, who helped develop the framework of CRT, she said out of her mouth that CRT is a ever-moving target. Now you can look, this is summarized by the Bar Association, okay? This is summarized by the American Bar Association. Don't believe me. Quote, she notes that CRT is not a noun, but a verb. That's what she said. It's not a noun, but it's a verb. She said it cannot be confined to a static and narrow definition, but it is considered to be an evolving and malleable practice. In other words, it's whatever they want it to be. It's whatever they can throw in there. Now, don't all the black folks that want to get pissed off and y'all follow these people like a cult. Don't believe me. This is y'all girl saying this. This is y'all goddess of critical race theory that's telling you it's ever evolving. It's not static. It's not malleable. It's ever evolving. Huh? See, this is where all the mix up comes in at. That's why nobody even knows what racism is right now anymore. Racism is anything. Going to work is racism. Showing up on time is racism. Being married is racist. Being married to one woman is racist. Staying with your family and not leaving your kids bastards is racist. See what I'm saying? All these definitions are ever evolving, ever changing. There's nothing that nobody has, nothing that's completely foundational to it. That's why she can say that. Kimberly Crenshaw, mother of critical race theory, who helped formulate critical race theory, that's out of her mouth. Let's get back to the video. For those of you that want to, I told you, I knew it. The main ones that always want to jump in here. And you don't know nothing about CRT. You all of a sudden I'm talking about it and you're not here, coward. Back to the video.
Okay, good.
The parts of CRT that I think are most relevant and, very factually, you can, what am I trying to say? there's a lot of evidence for them, is the fact that previous inequalities, such as the institution of slavery, such as our treatment of Native Americans, do in fact affect those populations today. And you were saying before, in inner cities, there's a lot more crime, and a lot of that is because of redlining and other practices that come directly from the mistreatment of minorities previously in this country.
So I want to make sure I understand. So black people make up 13% of the American population.
Oh, 1350, my favorite.
Yes, exactly. Why do they commit 55% of all the murders?
Super great question. It's basically a very complex intersection of race and economic status. It's pretty well known that minority people tend to be in a lower economic status because of discrimination that they face. So then why don't...
Now, let me tell you something. This is what I really love about this right here. This right here is what I really love. See, I came from the disenfranchised, the poor, low economic, low social, high crime area. It blows my mind that individuals like this young woman, like I said, it's not her fault. I would love to talk to her like this. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't down her, but what it is that she is just doing something what we call rinse and repeat. She is going out and preaching the gospel, saying all this because she heard somebody else say it. She heard this in class. She heard it in college. You know how insulting it is to say that the reason why black people commit all of these crimes, over 55% of the crimes, is because of our living condition. It's because on a social economic level, we seem to be at the lower part. That's the reason why black people commit these crimes. You know how insulting that is? Now, it might not be for some of y'all black folks that like to sit there and run the system and read the system. You want to use this as some type of caveat to, oh, play the victim. Yeah, we always look what happened to our ancestors. I'm going to get into it a little bit. Let me read off this super chat real quick. Rachel Holzer with the super chat. I really appreciate that. God bless you. Says, to presume I know what another community needs that I don't belong to is like me as a woman speaking for a man. People wake up. Absolutely facts right there. Nicholas with the $5 super chat says, keep it up, brother. Keep spreading facts. You king. Appreciate that. So no, I want y'all to pay attention to what she says right here, because this is the type of stuff I love to eat people alive with. Listen.
The mistreatment of minorities populations today. And for them, thinker
sloppiness. The 1619 project was...
I think it's very sloppy.
Okay, we agree. Nicole
I
Hannah
think
Jones.
it's overstated, and I think some of the parts are inaccurate.
Okay, good.
The parts of CRT that I think are most relevant and, very factually, you can, what am I trying to say? There's a lot of evidence for them, is the fact that previous inequalities, such as the institution of slavery, such as our treatment of Native Americans, do in fact affect those populations today.
Right there is one of the most ignorant statements. Did y'all hear that? That right there is one of the most ignorant statements that just gets me like, are you kidding? Are you kidding right now? Slavery. And what happened to black people then? What happened to the Native Americans then? You're telling me that what happened way back then is the reason why today that black people are struggling and don't have it good, and black people are, you telling me that's the, that's what I'm saying. A lot of black people, y'all don't even see it this way. And I'm not saying all black people, I'm saying a lot of black people don't see it this way, because too many of them have been trained to play victim. Too many of them have been trained that when this girl says something like this, yeah, that's right, because of what happened to our ancestors. That's stupid. Can you think about it? What happened to our ancestors hundreds of years ago is the reason why today we have it bad? Absolutely not. Look what happened post-slavery, the late 1800s, the late 1870s, all the way up into the late 1940s and into the early 1950s. We were killing it. Black people were flourishing. We were just as married as if not more than white people. We were high on a socio-economic level. The fathers were in the home. We were posted in the magazine as Black Americans being the new middle class of America at one time. And this was during a time when it was legal to discriminate. It was legal to be racist on the job. It was legal to not hire black people. It was legal to segregate. And you're telling me that during that time that nobody likes to talk about in school, in history, during that time, black people were flourishing, but in today, in 2024, we can't get ahead. We can't do nothing. We can't. Systemic racism. Oh my God. They don't want to teach CRT because it's history. We need diversity, equity, inclusion because black, what? Don't believe me? Go and look it up. During the late 1800s into the early 1950s, black people were killing it. And I'm not talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, in case people will Black Wall Street. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about overall in Harlem, in cities like Chicago. Black people were becoming pharmacists, doctors, nurses increases extremely high, lawyers, shoemakers. Black people were killing it. Why don't y'all know about this? Well, they don't tell us that in school. No, because they only tell you what they want to tell you so they can push a narrative to make it seem like that the only thing black people ever were slaves. And we all good for just getting beat. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir, master. I sure will go up there and chuck the corn for you. I go out there and detassel the tomatoes for you. I pick the cotton. Oh, don't hit me, master. That's what they make it seem like that's all that ever happened to us. That's it. Y'all, you should be asking yourself, why isn't it in the, since you want to talk about CRT should be taught in school, why don't you talk about the late 1800s into the early 1950s? That period. Show them that period. Show them that period how black people were flourishing and killing it. Why won't they show that? Huh? Why do y'all know they go from slavery, boop, civil rights movement is deliberately done. Again, it goes from talking about slavery, then they skip over the late 1800s into the early 1950s. Then they go straight into the civil rights movement. Black people had it hard. They just wanted civil rights. Dude, look what they did. They beat them. Martin Luther King came and said, no, non-violent marching. Malcolm X wanted violent marching. Malcolm X said by any means necessary. Oh, look what. See, black people have always been treated bad. Y'all follow me, because this is what they do. They talk about slavery, and then they go and skip and talk about the civil rights movement. They don't expect you Negroes, and I'm just being real, they don't expect black folks to say, hey, what happened after slavery ended, before the civil rights movement? Wait, don't ask that question. Because if you tell black people, oh, after slavery into the 1950s, you guys were doing great. You guys only had, the only single mothers from the late 1800s to the early 1950s, the only single mothers were mothers whose husbands died. There was rarely any single moms that had children out of wedlock. It was frowned upon. But getting married, follow me, getting married and trying to have a family, that's racist because that's what the white man wanted us to do. Some of y'all are not getting it. Some folks are not getting it. If you find that during the late 1800s to the early 1950s, that the only single mothers amongst black people were women who were widows, that means they were married. There was not even heard of any single mothers who had children out of wedlock. It was rare. During that time, 75 to 80% of all black couples were married. Daddy was there. You flip that to today, 80-some% almost not married and don't have a father in the home today. But you're going to tell me the reason that all that happened is because racism. The reason why the black men don't want to stay there because the white man ran the black fathers out. Absolutely not. Not. Nope. Not believing that for 1 minute. Don't forget to hit that like button if you guys are in here to make sure that this video will be circulated within the YouTube algorithm. Let's get back to this video. I'll play it like this. This probably is better for y'all.
And you were saying before in, inner cities, there's a lot more crime. And a lot of that is because of redlining and other practices that come directly from the mistreatment of minorities previously in this country.
So I want to make sure I understand.
Previously, the reason why we are committing crimes today is because of how black people were treated previously. That has nothing to do with what a person is doing today. You're telling me like it's an inherited thing, like, oh, well, you know what? I know your DNA is warring with you, saying, look here now, your family was beat back in the slave days and all that. So look, you black people were treated real bad back in the 1950s and the 1940s and everything, in the 1930s, and y'all were treated real bad. Therefore, y'all have no choice but to go and commit crimes. That's an insult, black people. I don't care what you can disagree with me all you want to. That is an insult. To me, it's an insult.
So black people make up 13% of the American population.
Oh, 1350, my favorite.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Why do they commit 55% of all the murders?
Super great question. It's basically a very complex intersection of race and economic status. It's pretty well known that minority people tend to be in a lower economic status because of discrimination that
so then why
face.
don't poor Asians commit a lot of murders?
Also a great question. Asian people weren't originally brought to America on purpose like black people, and they weren't already present here like natives.
So blacks murder because they were brought here 250 years ago?
No, I would like to finish.
Okay, just answer. It's very simple.
I am answering.
No, I know, but you're not really.
I am. Asian Americans predominantly immigrate here for work reasons. They come from already wealthy countries. They're already wealthy when they get here. Crime is committed primarily by poor people.
First of all, that's not true. Talk to anybody from who's Vietnamese? Anybody? Did your family come here wealthy?
No.
Yes and
no. Not wealthy,
okay.
but not.
Yes
I'm not
or
saying
no?
they come
No.
here. Okay.
The average Vietnamese does not come here wealthy.
I'm not. Okay. I perhaps misspoke. Not wealthy, but a lot of the, you complain about it all the time. A lot of the immigration from countries that border us, right? It's sort of desperate people who are of a lower economic status, right? And they're coming here for a better life.
So two things.
Now, I want to say this to you guys. What makes her statement so off is for her to say Asians and all them came here because they immigrated here and blacks didn't. During what period? See what I'm saying? During the transatlantic slave trade. Find me Asians and all them that were immigrating here. Come on, stop it. We're not talking about, the late 1900s, 1950s, 60s, 70s when people were immigrating over here from all over. Jews and everybody was immigrating. We're talking about right now. Right now. So what you're saying is that because black people who were sold into slavery by other black people, that all these people had it in their mind that it was a normal thing that if your tribe happened to be caught up in war, there were prisoners of wars. By the way, everywhere. Since you want to talk about the Native American people, like white people just came over here and did something to the Native American people that the Native American people never encountered in their lives. Y'all, you're being taught a lie. Native Americans, the indigenous people here in the United States, they were doing the same exact thing. They would conquer and beat other tribes. They would take those people of those tribes as prisoners of wars. They would either keep them as prisoners of wars or they will sell them to other tribes. So whatever y'all claiming the white man came over here and did that, y'all pissed. I'm just being real. Y'all pissed off because the white people did it better. Keep it real. The white people did it better. Oh, I know. I'm about to catch a whole lot of hell over that. That's what you're mad over. Y'all make it seem like everybody that was a victim of slavery, y'all make it seem like these people no. What happened is that they were prisoners of wars. They were sold into Indians sold other Indian tribes into slavery, or they kept them as prisoners of wars, making them work at their camps or their villages. Black people in Africa, when they conquered another tribe or village, they had those people as prisoners of wars and they sold those people into slavery. White people, Slavs, when they captured other people that they conquered in other villages, towns, cities, whatever, they kept those other white people as slaves and they sold them into slavery as well. India had one of the biggest slave trade, the Arabic slave trade. Oh my God. Chinese, yes, Asians. They did the same. Everybody was doing it. So we need to be asking the question, how is it that here in America that they kept all these details out? Who is painting this picture? White man bad. White man bad. Look what the white man did. Colonialism. They colonized everything. They was doing everything that everybody else was doing, but the only problem y'all mad about is that the white people did it better. Keep it real. They just happen to do it better. If you go into Africa, where black people are dominating in a lot of black countries over there in Africa, they would have the rhetoric out there. We do it better than every other black man here in Africa. Whoever is the richest black people in Africa, that's running the governments in Africa, that's running everything in Africa, that happen to turns out to be black, they are doing it better than the other black people in Africa. Russia, over in Russia, Vladimir Putin, however he came to be, all those white people there, those particular white people that's running Russia, that's having dominance over Russia, those particular white people are doing it better than the other white Russians that are there. Plain and simple. Now, can you imagine in Africa right now, black people, since y'all want to get on this, in Africa right now, black people, there are poor black people in Africa. There are middle-class black people in Africa. There are rich black people in Africa. Can you imagine the black people in Africa? Oh, the reason why we can't get ahead is because it's systemic black racism. See, we way darker than those other black ones that's up there and high. See, y'all, nobody wants to hear this part right here. Nobody likes to swallow this pill. You want to know why? Because in doing so, black people, you're not special. Uh-oh, Ty. Uh-oh, Ty. You heard me. When you find out that the whole entire world participated in trafficking and selling of human beings, every race, when you find out that when black people end up being the ones with the transatlantic slave trade got brought over here, when you find out that Portugal had almost 50% of all you Negroes, but y'all don't have no smoke for them. Denmark had a whole lot of them. A whole lot of other countries had black slaves during the transatlantic slave trade. America got like what, barely 2% of all the slaves sold? America got barely 2% of all the black slaves sold. But y'all, if you look at it, they make it seem like America got all the black people sold. And they're treating it as such. But when you find out that the whole world participated in selling their own to various colors of people, Negroes, you're not that special. Y'all didn't know that over in Asia that they were beat too. They were whipped. They were raped. Y'all didn't know that in the Middle East during their slave period, they were taken from their children. Children were separated from their family, sold into slavery. Y'all didn't know that they were being whipped and beat too, right? As a matter of fact, they were castrating the living daylights out of a lot of them there. They don't tell y'all that, huh? Negroes, you thought it only happened to us because that's what they want to sell you. It only happened to black people. And that's why it only happened to us. It only happened. No, it did not. It happened to everybody. And when you learn that it happened to everybody, again, it's going to piss you off even more because I'm showing you you're not that special. And when you figure out you're not that special, what are you going to do about it? White people were sold into slavery. The Irish, they were sold into slavery. Black people, did y'all know that there was almost just as many slave owners in the South that were black than there were that were white? Did y'all know that? Black people. And this girl that just got done talking about this, Native Americans. Did y'all know that when slavery ended, guess who didn't have to end slavery at that time? Indians didn't. Indians still had your black folks still slaves when slavery ended. But y'all don't have no smoke for the Native Americans, do y'all? Oh, no, because Native Americans and black people, we all on the same playing field. We were all conquered by the white man. Look what the white man did to us. Who ended slavery? Who ended it? Huh? Who ended the civil rights movement? Who ended it? It sure wasn't you Negroes. So how dare, I'm just being real with y'all. How dare you allow this crazy narrative, this crazy rhetoric to be instilled and indoctrinated to your mind to look at and say every white person has white privilege. Every white person has white privilege. Every white person is racist. Every white person has inherited racism in their DNA. How dare you say something like that when these very white people were the ones who were willing to kill other white people to free your black butt? Can you imagine if white people never would have did that? Oh man, you would have got wiped off the United States is what would have happened. No, they were all kind of rebellion. You Negroes, if white people never decided to want to end slavery collectively, you Negroes, it wouldn't even be a such thing as black people in America right now. Keep it real. See, I told y'all I learned a lot as a father. What I say to you may hurt your feelings. It may hurt and challenge your truth. But my intentions of doing it is not to do that. My intentions is to get you to wake up and see the truth of the matter. No, what I'm saying to you right now, you're not going to find hardly anybody, any professor. I don't care who y'all watch on YouTube. You're not going to find hardly anybody that's going to tell you straight up raw, just like I just told you. That if white people did not decide collectively that other white people should not be selling people into slavery anymore, if they all just said, you know what, this is just the way things are here in the United States, we would literally be like other countries right now who still allow slavery to go on. Right now, black people, what would we do? What would we do? Man, if I ain't no, you wouldn't, because your mentality cannot be like it is today. If you were born into slavery as a child, you're just like animals. I'm just being real. You would be just like the equivalent of an animal in the zoo that's born into captivity. You take an animal that's born into captivity and try to put it out in the wild, it's probably not going to last a week. The animal don't know how to hunt. It don't even know what it's supposed. It's used to being fed. We going somewhere with that, ain't we? Huh? The animal is used to being fed. It's used to being told when to go to the bathroom, when not to go to the bathroom. It's used to being told when it's going to breed with the female animals, not breed with the female animals. It doesn't even know what a running animal look like that it's supposed to hunt and eat. It doesn't know that because it's being fed. It get pieces of meat. It doesn't know. It was born into captivity. So all of you to say, man, if it was today, I would know you wouldn't be. You would be the equivalent of an animal born into captivity. Your thought process can't think like a one that's free. But the problem today is this current government system has y'all slaves on a mental level. Oh no? Oh no? Who's telling y'all what this? Who's telling black folks? I know some of y'all are not in here. Who's telling y'all what they think? Huh? Who's telling y'all who's telling y'all to instantly call somebody like me an Uncle Tom? Who's telling y'all to call me a sellout? Huh? And if you say, oh, it's come from other black folks, who told them that? Because if you knew what you were talking about, you wouldn't dare say something to a person like me who is trying to free you off the mental plantation. You don't even understand. When I just got done saying an animal born into captivity, being told what to eat, what to drink, what to think, and if that animal got out and was to be free, it wouldn't know how to survive. That's how they keep you in captivity, folks, on a mental level. Handouts, incentivize everything. Oh yeah, keep having babies. If not, kill your babies. I encourage you to kill your babies, Negroes. I encourage y'all to have a bunch of kids, because we know if you have a bunch of kids, single mother, you're not going to be able to have a job to suffice to be able to support all those kids. And if we're going to help you, you better not have a man in that house, black woman. That's why Big Daddy government kicks in. Big Daddy government feeds you. Big Daddy government push you into a particular type of predicament to where your kids have no choice but to go to a public school that doesn't give a good goddamn don't care about your child's education. Oh, but it's every white person is responsible for that. See, black people, you're not capable of making your own choices, right? Black people, you're not capable. Black women, keep it being. And this is not all black women. I'm just saying this as a general statement. Black women, you're not capable of not having sex with a man without protection, right? You're not capable of doing that, black women, right? Black women, you're not capable of trying to make it better for yourself, right? You need big daddy. Black women, you're not capable of choosing a good black man, or any man for that particular matter, based off of what you like, right? Black women, no. Black men, you're not capable of getting out of the hood, right? You're not capable of getting out of the streets, right, black men? You need something like affirmative action to help you get there, because you're not smart enough, right? You're not good enough. You don't have the intellect to actually do it, black people, right? Black men, you don't have that, right? Black men, you're not capable of safe sex, right? Black man, you're not capable of getting married and only having children by the woman you married, right? Black man, it's a struggle for you not to have multiple baby mamas, right? Black men, it's a struggle for you not to kill somebody, right? Right, black men? Black man, it's a struggle not to sell drugs, right? Huh? Black man, it's a struggle to get through school, right? Right? Because you black. That's the only reason why, right? Why would you say something like that, Ty? I'm saying it is because you need to look at the actions of this particular type of rhetoric that's out there in this particular narrative that's telling you that. No, that ain't what they said. They looking out for us. No, they are not. When you tell people we're going to teach this particular type of education that encourages you to do it, that's not looking out for you. When you sit there and tell a particular race of people that the very people who fought to free them are the people who are racist against them, does that even, think about that? Does that even make logical sense? No. Are there racist people? Yes. Yes, there are racist people. They can be black, they can be white, they can be Asian, they can be Indian, they can be Canadian, they can be Russian, they can be Australian, they can be Jamaican, they can be Mexican, they can be Latino, they can be Cuban, they can be Samoan. All human beings have the ability to be racist against another race, period. Period. But if you're going to tell me that today, that is what is the number one thing that holds black people down, you are a complete idiot. No, Ty, no. Yes, it is. You heard me. If you are telling me that the reason why black people cannot do what they want to in today's world because of what happened to black folks during slavery, you're an idiot. Let me tell you something. I don't know who my great-grandfather was. But if you were to come to me and say, Ty, let me tell you something. The reason why this is happening, you can't do this because what happened to your great-grandfather. Wait, so the reason why I'm committing crimes and the reason why I'm doing this is because of my great-grandfather? I never even knew the dude. So how can, but you would believe about your ancestors. And then people get pissed off when I say this. If black people, you do know that there were black people that came in and was up north, indentured servants, they did their part up north. And when they did their part, did y'all know this, black people? Those indentured servants, they got their land, they worked their land. Guess what a lot of those black indentured servants did? They sent for other people to come across the transatlantic slave trade to come and work on their land and do the same thing. They worked. Once they fulfilled their indentured servitude, those same black people went off, got land, worked the land, and they sent for other blacks to come over there. They don't tell y'all that, do they? No, because they want y'all to think that all of us just got sent over here. We were all beaten, whipped, and all that. No, we're not. See, they only give you the Southern view of what happened during slavery. That's all they give you. And it's a reason why they give you that, because they want you to do nothing more than stay angry, stay pissed off, and stay victims. They don't talk about how successful we were. Even during the slave, look up who Lemuel Haynes is. Look up who Jean Morant was. Look up who Hoosier was. Did you even know that the Indiana Hoosiers, who were they named after? Hoosier. He was black. So a whole college is named after a black man, and a lot of folks didn't even know that. This was during slavery now. Not everybody that came to America that was black was a slave. And then again, you don't want to talk about the black people who were slave masters themselves. Oh, we don't like to do that, do we? Again, why do we? It goes on today that you don't want to hold no black people that do other black people wrong. Y'all don't want to hold them accountable. You don't believe that still goes on today? How come people get pissed off when I talk about the last mayor up here in Chicago, Lightfoot? Why do you get pissed off when I talk about the current black mayor right now, Brandon Johnson? Why do you get pissed off when I talk about Eric Adams up in New York? Huh? Why do you get pissed off when I talk about Attorney General Letitia James? When I talk about Fonnie Willis? Why do you get pissed off about? Why you got pissed off at the LSU black girl that I said she's up there, they sexualizing me, and she did a Sports Illustrated swimsuit with thumbs and stuff up her butt? The first thing you get on here and start doing, man, you always talking about black people. You what? But if they were white, you would be cool with it. I'm talking about what they're doing that is wrong, period. See what I'm saying? You've been trained to see nothing but race. Because when I do my presentations on anybody, whether they are white or black, I talk about what it is that they did. And some of you Negroes are so pre-programmed, the first thing you get in here and do, you always talk about black people. I do it on white people. Y'all don't got nothing to say. If I sat here and talked about how terrible it was, how terrible slavery was, I will not give no depiction of the color of the person. I will talk about who this person is and what they did and how it was wrong. Y'all will get on here. Yep, that was white people. But I get on here and talk about Anthony B. Johnson. Anthony Johnson was a black man who was an indentured servant. He served his indentured servitude. He sponsored for black people to come over here and work on his plantation. When Anthony Johnson had a slave who was an indentured servant, right? When he had an indentured servant, that indentured servant did not fulfill what he was supposed to do. And Anthony Johnson, who has the experience of being an indentured servant, who's more qualified to tell that other indentured servant, you didn't do this right. So no, you got to fill this out. So guess what Anthony Johnson did? He went to court, and he was like the first person to ever have a documented person on paper as a slave. And he was black. Well, that don't mean nothing, man. See, there y'all go. But if I sat there and said, look what these white people did to these black people as slaves, y'all all cool with that. See, because it levels the playing field when you see that that white people weren't the only ones that had slaves over here. White people had slaves, black people had slaves, Indians had slaves. But the only people y'all got smoked for, black people, are white people. Huh? Would you say it again? Huh? Say it again. Black people had slaves. White people had slaves. Indians had slaves. And you know what some of y'all like to do? Well, black people didn't have as many. Well, Indians didn't have as many. Does it matter? They had them. But this is what y'all do, and it's sad because it goes on today. And that's how we end y'all. Y'all have no idea how this stuff has evolved into the whole snitches get stitches type stuff, because you don't want to hate on black people. It's not even hating. You don't want to hold them accountable because you look like them. If somebody is doing you wrong, if somebody is steering you the wrong way, I don't care what color they are. I'm going to call out the actions or the act that person is doing that's damaging you, period. Let me ask you something, folks, since I'm in medicine. Can y'all tell me what a headache looks like? While y'all think about that, hit that like button for me real quick. Again, anybody in here, can you tell me what a headache looks like? Can y'all tell me what the flu looks like? Can y'all tell me what cancer looks like? Huh? Can y'all tell me what a stomach ache looks like? Can y'all tell me what nausea looks like? You guys, can anybody? Yeah, I'm asking that as a legit question. I'm waiting on y'all to answer. While y'all are answering that, please, please, please hit that like button. Renee, good point. She said it looks like constricting of blood vessels in the brain. But the pain itself, what does it look like? What does a headache look like? So when I say what does nausea look like, the reason I'm telling you guys this is that you don't have no color associated with that, but you definitely feel the effects of it, right? So my point is saying is this: if you have a headache, and my issue with the headache is that it's painful, if it's causing you pain, if I want to try to figure out how to solve that to keep you from having pain, does it matter what it looks like? No. If you are nauseated and you're not feeling good, it's causing you distress. I want to figure out, is there something I can do and come up with, like medicine, to keep you from feeling nauseated? The point is saying that is that what we're talking about in particular is a problem. If it is a problem and I am addressing the problem, why in the world do color come into play? Who cares? Fathers not being in the home is one of the biggest detriments to families. And it's not just black families, it's any family. Period. Period. So what I'm saying is that a lot of folks like to do that. You want to jump on the bandwagon of simply this being a thing of, oh, it's a white thing, it's a black thing. No, it's a problem thing, period. Slavery was starting to be eradicated and end in all the world because all the world participated in slavery. It had nothing to do with color. America was not founded on racism. No, it was not. I know a lot of people got pissed off when I said it on Fox News. America was not founded on racism. What do you mean? For one, it wasn't founded at all. There was already people that were here, for one. And Christopher Columbus did not discover America. He ended up in the Caribs. Folks, I know they don't tell y'all this because you're taught a flawed history. That's why you try to argue with me, because you don't know your history on this. Anyway, y'all, let me digress and get back to this video. Make sure y'all hit that like button so this video can be circulated within the YouTube algorithm.
Number one, there's been more blacks that have legally immigrated to this country in the last 30 years than were ever brought as slaves. That's number one. Number two, you still haven't answered the question.
I'm trying to.
Why?
It's a complicated answer.
Black people are only 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders. Why?
Because black people tend to be in lower economic statuses because of
Okay, no, this
CRT,
is fine. This is great.
Basically,
so you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies.
This is where
on
we
that.
disagree. What an insult to the working poor of this country.
So why do you think black people commit more crime?
Well, first of all,
Kirk?
so how? Let me ask you a question as
No,
my
answer.
answer.
Go on.
What percentage of blacks have a father around when they're raised?
I'm not sure.
20%.
So that's why you
80% of
think it
blacks
is.
do not have a stable father around. It is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a murderer or a criminal.
And why
It's
do
not a
you think that's
racism
a problem?
It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women
And
that they have
why-
impregnated.
Charlie Kirk, do you think that happens more in the black community compared to others?
It's threefold. Number one, we subsidize single motherhood. Number two, it's culture. It's accepted in the black community, and it
so
shouldn't
it's
be.
culture. Okay.
Don't take my
I
word
see.
for it. Read Thomas Sowell's own book.
Or you can go and ask a black person. Ask me. See, look, I get it that Charlie Kirk is doing what he's doing right there, which he's doing a phenomenal job. My thing is, y'all, y'all, you know how hard it is for these people to actually put somebody like me on the campus like that? They won't do it because I would annihilate them. See, I'm just being real. This white girl will argue with this white dude about what's going on with the black people. They won't argue with another black person like me, who came from the ghetto, who came from the hood, who came from single parent home, who grew up around murder and killing, who grew up around seeing women getting beaten and raped, who grew up around crackheads. And what you're going to try to tell me is that that's a result of what? See what I'm saying? Y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's so crazy. So literally what you are saying is that we can't do for ourselves. We are animals. We're not smart. We only act this way is because of our predicament. What? Insult. Insult on so many levels. Insult, period. That is so dang on demoralizing. It's crazy. Guess what? I grew up around this stuff. I never robbed anybody. I knew robbing was wrong. I didn't take a rocket scientist. I knew that murder was wrong. I knew that beating up women was wrong. I knew this. We all knew it. But when you have a culture that glorifies it, that encourages it, that praises it, and you get that at a young age, you don't know that what you're doing is wrong. I'm telling y'all, this is the craziest thing in the hood. When all you see put in front of you is the glorification of those acts as a child, you don't have the moral compass yet to feel and think that what you're doing is wrong. So no, it has everything to do with parents. I don't care what you say, because being poor is literally a social construct. Change my mind. Because the way that people in America right now on welfare, on Section 8, let me take you to the dang on mountains of Jamaica. Huh? You would look at them and say, woo wee, those Jamaicans are poor. They'll look at you and say, no, this is normal. Us living in huts, having to go down to fetch our water, us having to cook outside on pots and all that, not having no running air conditioning in some parts of in the mountains. There's people here in America like that. That's why at the end of my videos, I say, I hope and pray that every last one of you guys have food, shelter, and clothing, and great health, because that's all that really matters. Now, you can break these things down to levels. So now I can sit there and say, yo, I grew up, we were poor. Now, I can seriously say that to an extent, because when you get to a point where you got to go around town picking cans and turning that in for money, I consider that to be poor. Yeah, that's what me and my brothers did when we were younger at a period of time in our life. I'm not going to get into that, but we had to. But today, the ones who got air and heat in their house, Section 8, your mom only had to pay probably $120 for rent when the rest of it's being footed, and you get food stamps. Poor? Bull crap. Absolute bull crap. Well, yeah, you hear me say that. I live in the suburbs. I got homes in different states. Yeah, but what does that mean? My sons, do they know what poor is? Yes. Want to know why? Because they see what I did. They see what I do in the community. They see what I did when they were growing. My sons were growing up. They seen the work that I did with the youth, with young people. They seen these areas that these kids lived in. Now, what I would tell my sons is this. What makes y'all different than these kids y'all see? What matter of fact, I tell my sons this. What makes y'all different than y'all cousins? Because I'm just keeping it real. My son's cousins, a lot of their cousins live in the ghetto. They live in the hood. But I tell my sons, what makes y'all different than them? They got a bathroom they can use. They eat every day. They have clothes. They have air conditioning. They have heat. They have running water. They can take showers. They can take baths. What makes your condition different than theirs? The area? Okay. But does the area define poverty or what we call poor? See, that's what I'm saying. We in the Western world have bought into this concept of what poor is. But if you stay, all those things I just named off, having Section 8, food stamps, water, heat, air, what are we talking about? What we need to get down to the nitty-gritty of is what is going on here that is making these young men and women go out and do what they're doing. That's the ticket right there, because there are a lot of people. Look, I'm telling y'all, especially in the area and the place I have in Florida, there's rich people that live around us, way wealthy. I mean, they are super rich. Trust me. A lot of their kids strung out on cocaine, strung out on meth, heroin. Oh my God, some of my neighbors, their kids didn't even go to college. They don't even work. So I say to my sons, so what's the ones that are super wealthy and rich versus the ones that supposed to live in the ghetto and the hood? What's different? When it all comes down to it, the difference is, men, y'all better realize this. Now, ladies, don't get offended. Don't get offended at what I'm getting ready to say. Y'all probably are anyway, but it doesn't even matter. I don't care, but that's not my intention, is to offend. Fathers. But Ty, mothers are important too. But I get mothers are important, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about fathers being a freaking dominant force of nature in your home. But Ty, you don't know what your kids, man, y'all. I knew from the time that my sons were born, I knew my sons weren't going to get into drugs. I knew my sons weren't going to have some girl pregnant. I knew my sons weren't going to end up being around no gangs or anything like that. And don't sit there and try to tell me it's the reason why, Ty, because the conditions that you Nope. It had nothing to do with our living conditions. Because guess what? My son's seen what it's like to be low income. Let's keep it real. You think going through college full time that you just living a lot? No. We stayed in the projects where I went to college at. Yeah. I went to school full time, then worked at a furniture store while having two sons. We stayed in the projects in areas in St. Louis when I was going to college. Then when I went on off to another college in another state. It wasn't until school was getting ready to be done and I got a job that they got to see the suburb life or the gated community life. My sons growing up, they didn't have all the lavish clothes and all that stuff like that. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. My son's cousins had way more name brand clothes than what my sons did. Even though my family, them, a lot of their cousins and a lot of them were on a lower social economic level than I was. I wasn't getting my sons none of that stuff. It wasn't necessary. So what are we talking about? Right now, again, with all that being said, why is it that my sons, a lot of their cousins, are pregnant? A lot of my sons' cousins got a bunch of kids. A lot of my sons' male cousins have a bunch of a lot of my sons' male cousins have a bunch of kids and a bunch of baby mamas. Why is that? Why don't my sons have that? Because I knew as a father what my responsibility was. I knew as a father how I was going to raise my kids despite of what society said. I knew. Well, Ty, so what you saying is no. As grown men, my sons are grown now. If my sons decide to go and get into any kind of drugs, that's going to be a matter of them making that choice themselves. But when they are young children, you have to lead and guide and direct them. My sons weren't influenced by that type of culture. Why? I didn't let them be around it. I didn't let them listen to it. I didn't let them watch it on TV. That's not the norm. I didn't let them see that booty shaking and having sex with a bunch of women is glorified. I wouldn't let that message get pushed in their head. I knew as a father that my number one thing was to protect them on an emotional, spiritual, intellectual, educational level, period. I'm a very involved father. When my sons went to school, came back, what y'all do today, son? What y'all learn? What they talk about? Y'all supposed to talk about this tomorrow? Well, here, I want you to write these questions down and go and ask your teachers these questions. Everything came down to a lost cause of what the purpose of what we as men are supposed to be to our kingdom, which is our family. Plain and simple. I do not care what anybody say. I have folks I grew up around that had a father in the ghetto, in the hood. They turned out to do exceptionally well. One of my own cousins, shout out to my cousin, if you listen, Tierra Hall. They live next door to us in the ghetto, in the hood, where we seen all this stuff happen. She had her mom and her dad in the house. She is a very successfully married young woman today, and she went to college to become an accountant. We both came from the same area. She had the guidance of a father. She had that. We didn't. Our role models were a lot of males from the streets, a lot of our older cousins, gang banging. That's who ours was, male figures. Now, when we got older, as I became a preteen and I got into after school programs, shout out to Keith Anderson of Homework Hangout, Master Taylor Taekwondo, Coach Bill Harback, Coach Darling, Coach Mike Gibney. A lot of my male coaches end up being great influences to me. But when you hear young women like her talk about the things that they're saying with the virtue signaling, and they want to blame everything else except for the ones who are responsible for those individuals committing those crimes, that's when it becomes an issue. See, when I gave you all those analogies earlier about the headache, the nausea, and all that, I'm about to close this up. Don't worry. I just want y'all to see that portion right there. When I gave y'all those analogies about the headache, the nausea, and all that, let me ask y'all something. Would you rather me get rid of the symptom, or would you rather me get rid of the actual problem that's causing the symptom? Why y'all answer that? Hit that like button. Again, would you rather me get rid of the symptoms, or would you rather me get rid of the problem that's causing the symptoms? What do you mean, Ty? What are you saying that for? See, these crimes, pregnancies, deleting the children, multiple baby mamas, robbing, stealing, those amongst black people. Because we're talking about black people. I know it happens in all races, but particularly black people. Those things that I just named off, those are the symptoms Okay. What they like to do is try to make it seem like the problem that's causing the symptoms is because of the low impoverished area. Don't have access to this. Don't have access to that. No, 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 no. What's causing the illegitimate, what's causing kids to be bastards, what's causing people to be criminals and thugs and robbers and multiple baby mamas, multiple baby daddies is not having strong fathers in the home. That's the problem. Period. No, Ty, because if the it's because there's some people that they got their dad in the home and they kids still turn out nope. I'm not believing that for once. I'm not saying that I'm the perfect person in the whole wide world at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm not going to sit there and not deny the fact that I turned out to be a very good goddamn on father, a good leader of my home. I'm not going to say you're darn right. Because if you knew where I came from, where we didn't have none of that, we didn't have no fathers, we didn't have no father figures, and all of my friends that didn't have it too, how a lot of them turned out, even some of my own brothers, how they turned out. Trust me when I tell you, I made in my life's work that I was going to be in my son's lives involved in everything. Everything. So when you try to tell me that the reason why this stuff is going on with black people is because of something that happened way back during slavery, is because of systemic racism, is because we need to teach CRT, is because we need more DEI. That's the bull crap. The reason why that stuff is happening is because there are not any real fathers in the home. And when I was making that statement, when I say, well, some people say, well, Ty, there's people out there that got fathers in the home and their kids end up having nope, they didn't have a real father. They might have had a 50% father. No, see, y'all, I'm different. And a lot of my young men that I mentor, I want them to be just like that. I told them, right, y'all, let me show y'all something. I have my young men get a journal. See that's a journal. The reason why I have them have a journal, because certain points that I make, I have them write it down. I have them go back and read it. I do this stuff myself. When I said that I knew that my sons want to get involved in anything like that, you want to know why? All these different things that I wrote down, how involved of a father I was going to be in my son's life, it prevented that. So when you say, well, there's like right now, people say, you don't know your son, my son's never snuck out of my house. My sons never ran off and got something. They haven't. They haven't. See, the problem that a lot of y'all have is that some of you fathers, so-called fathers, the problem that you have is that you wasn't involved in your child's life like you claimed you was. See, just going to work and coming home and having a beer and watching TV and sometimes talking to them, that doesn't count. When I say I was involved, I mean, when they were kids, I spent every second possibly that I could with them. And the only time I didn't spend time with my sons is when they were using the bathroom, doing the number one and number two. When they was in their rooms playing and watching TV, guess what I was doing? I was in the room with my sons, playing on their bunk beds, watching Sesame Street with them, watching Dora with them, watching Tom and Jerry, watching Popeye. And if not, I was in there with my wife, talking with my wife while my sons played in the room. As they got older, the same exact thing. When my sons got into gaming, guess what I was doing? I was sitting down with my sons and we sitting there gaming. Staying in your child's life. I get it. See, I foresaw that when my sons became grown, I got time to go and shoot pool and do all this other extracurricular activities a lot of men do. Right now, me and my youngest son, we go to the gym together now. He likes working out with me now. Yes, he lost a ton of weight. He likes working out with me now. We go to the gym. Being a father, folks, that influence is what kept them from going out in the streets, kept them from going and just trying to mess with some random girls and get her pregnant. See, in their minds, the structure that my son saw was mommy and daddy were married. Then we came. And then they got older. They want to replicate what mommy and daddy did. I talked to my sons about everything as far as liking girls, what to look for. I didn't even ask them, this is what you need to be doing. What my sons would do, they would tell me what type of woman they're looking for. They would tell me what they want her to look like. They tell me they hope that they can cook, that she can cook like their mom. This is not me. I'm saying, no, this is them. And as your sons get older, Now, some folks said this, and I'm just telling y'all, some of y'all may not agree with this, and I'm going to close it after this. I promise. I know I said I'm going to close like 5 times like people do at church. As children, yes, that authority in me represents fear. They don't do certain things out of fear of having to deal with me. And that's good. That's a good type of fear. That's traumatizing. No, it's not. No, it's not. Don't believe in these crazy new age speaking folks. When my child decides not to do something at school because his brain tells him, if you do that, your dad is going to get you. Yes, I want it to be like that. When my sons are out and about, when they used to play in the yard and my son thought about picking up a rock and throwing it, and his brain goes, hey, your dad going to whoop you. And not only that, he going to whoop you in front of your friends. He put the rock down. Ty, that's Trump. No, it's not. See, you're not understanding. Is wiring their brains to be in a point to where if they know they're getting ready to do something that's disobedient to what they've been taught by their father, their brain kicks in and go, whoa, you might not want to do that because your dad. Yes, I want that to be in their head as kids. And I loved it. As my sons got older into the teenage years, that fear changes. Y'all not going to find this in psychological books because they all want to push this rhetoric. The psychology changes. The kids go from being fearful of you as far as like what discipline they're going to have bestowed on them. They go from that to being now they're fearful that they may disappoint you. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. When they get older, young men, now if they just think about making a bad decision, now they're worried about me in the sense that they think that, man, I don't want to do that because I know they're fearful of now causing any type of hurt towards me. It's amazing how that works. Now they don't want to make a bad decision and do something wrong because now they're fearing, man, this might upset dad. This might make dad feel this way. And that's why I said I knew that my sons weren't going to get into anything like that. I knew it. So when you have people like this girl we just saw in this video that want to sit there and give all these excuses why black people are this or black people are that, why we disenfranchised, blah, 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 blah. All they're doing is avoiding the main nucleus of what's causing those symptoms of crime, murder, disobedience, disorderly conduct. They are avoiding that. And therefore, by avoiding that, you literally are enabling that to continue to happen because what you're doing, you're giving them an excuse and you don't want to hold them accountable. Period. Anyway, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button. I need to stop talking because I'm starting to lose my voice if y'all can't tell. I really appreciate you guys all being here. Again, hit that like button before you get out of here. And let me see if I do something real quick. I'm going to go through these again. To the ones that gave out the super chat, Rachel, really appreciate that. Rachel, again, with the super chat. I read it earlier. I really appreciate that. Nicholas with the $5 super chat said, keep it up, brother. Spreading facts. You can. Appreciate that. D. James says, salute Ty for waking up with facts. I really appreciate that $2 super chat there, sir. Steven Soar with the $5 super chat. Really appreciate that. And God bless you, sir. Says, big love, Ty, to you, your family, and lovely people in the chat. I really, really appreciate that, folks. Again, with that being said, hit that like button before y'all get out of here. Don't forget to double check to make sure that you still are subscribed to the channel because YouTube will unsubscribe you from the channel. All right. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, and I hope and pray every last one of you guys have food, shelter, and clothing. And most of all, I pray every last one of you guys in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus. And also, right here is where you can catch the next video, the latest video.